This week's episode was brought to you by the ongoing support of our listeners, who are the luckiest, wisest, and most powerful colony of rabbits to ever walk the earth. Yes, dear listeners, without you keeping the astral network of sacred cheat codes running our team of deeply embedded agents of subterfuge, we would risk detection by the dreaded Turtle Lord faction of the Illuminati, who are amphibious both spiritually and physically, making them the most formidable foe possible. If you'd like to help us defeat the Turtle Lords, or just hear the second half of this Cozy Campfire episode, then please visit www.patreon.com/thewholerabbit, where your monthly donation of just $5 will not only get you the uncensored, uninhibited, drunk on the mysteries mayhem found in the full edition of this episode, but our entire library of fully uninhibited, thought crime-inducing, maniac-provoking episodes guaranteed to make you rethink everything you know is real. Because after all, we, the whole rabbit, know that reality is just flimsy hallucination held together by gorilla tape and copious amounts of baby oil. We know because we found the receipts. For $20 a month, you can get a monthly tarot reading from yours truly, along with some other goodies that show you support our misadventures at a magnitude far beyond the average mortal. In this week's episode, we emerge from our winter hibernation like ravenous groundhogs and build within the shadow of our emerging a circle of sacred stones meant to contain the holy campfire, whence we share, drunk with popcorn and s'mores, the nightmarish tales we uncovered in the unconscious depths of our slumber. In the first half of the evening, we discussed the ghoulish zombies of Afghanistan, the ghosts of the Maiyalmula, and true tales of alien abduction. In the extended episode, we tell tale of the dangerous entities that prowl the Yakutia region of Russia, a taxi driver's encounter with a mad moose, and finally, a faithful telling of Aleister Crowley's short story, The Stratagem. Thank you, and enjoy the show. What do you get when you cross an eldritch horror with an e-girl?
What?
Cthulhu.
Ooh.
I don't get it.
Ooh, woo?
You know, it's like keyboard art. It's like you make your own emoji.
Yeah.
I've never really known what that is. It's a UWU, but I don't. It's like saggy boobs or like a cute face. I don't know.
It's a closed eyes with cat mouth.
See? Exactly.
I thought that was just supposed to be like a cute thing.
It is.
It is.
Furries use it a lot, but so do e-girls.
I thought e-girls were like people who did OnlyFans.
Yeah, and also like
Twitch streamers,
weebs use it.
weebs.
They're called emoticons, by the way.
So I just started to read a horror novel in Braille. Something bad is going to
Okay.
happen. I can feel it.
Yeah, I'm sure you can.
What horror villain is best at saving money?
What?
Pennywise! Two Thai girls asked me if I wanted to sleep with them. They said it'd be
Two
like
what
two Thai girls. So these two Thai girls, they asked if I wanted to sleep with them. They said it'd be like winning the lottery. To my horror, they were right. We had 6 matching balls.
Yep.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Whole Rabbit, where we don't just tell you about a series of unfortunate disasters assured to befall you should you endeavor a career in Hollywood making movies about the devil. Nay, we also pursue the sordid underbelly of the collective digital unconscious to dredge up the true and unspeakable nightmares so dark and so unbelievable they can only be shared anonymously online, because this week we're gathering around the campfire reading cursed posts, creepypastas, green text stories, and last but not least, if there is time, Aleister Crowley's short story, The Stratagem. I'm your host, Luke Madrid, also known as Hack Rabbit. I'm joined this week by the supersonic pizza delivery dog, Mari-sama.
Gotta go fast, or your order's on me.
The misunderstood maker of the metallic muffins, Malachor 5.
Mucho gusto.
Why do you make muffins out of metal, Malachor?
Well, because the dumps are fun.
It's like the Super Mario theme song plays when it comes out.
Yeah, when you get really good at it.
Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And the governor of Canada, Heka Astra.
Hello. I honestly thought you said tiger girls. That's why I was confused.
The governor of Tiger Girls. Heka Astra. How many tiger girls do you keep in your basement, Heka Astra?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Are you guys ready for a big helping of creepy pasta?
Where's the
I'm
sauce?
hungry.
I'd like to imagine this is like that show on TV when I was a kid in the 90s where they gather around the campfire and tell stories about evil pinball machines and ghost clowns.
Are you afraid of the dark?
That one! So just imagine, it's still the 90s. The air smells like cotton candy and popcorn, because that's how the air smelled. And we rode our bikes out into the woods, and now we're sitting around the campfire, roasting marshmallows, and I don't know, what do kids in the 90s talk about? Mortal Kombat?
Pretty much. Sonic.
Sonic, yeah. Don't forget Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
All right, so this first one is for our military bros in the audience. It looks like it's straight off of 4chan. Now, I had a very good friend who I'll call Sherlock because he believed very much in similar philosophies to Sherlock, as in deductive reasoning, purity of a priori logic. I've heard him over the radio when he's being shot at and having RPGs fired at him, and he sounded as calm and relaxed as somebody on holiday in an ice cream shop. Specifically, what flavor they wanted. For example,
Cucumber Crisp 071, I'm under heavy sustained fire. It looks like part of my fuselage just gave way. Over.
that sort of thing. I'm fairly sure he was slightly autistic because he'd just wait until base told him to pull out or whatever. He also had no mercy. If he had an authorization to fire, he'd light them up. No qualms, no limitation. Anyway, I've seen Sherlock quake like a fucking leaf in the winter wind. It must have been around 3 a.m. and there was fuck all to do. I was playing poker against the computer and winning. Another friend of mine reading Cat on the bed when he walked into the room. Pretty unusual because he always not. He delivered to me some supplies to an outpost about 70 kilometers away from the main base. Not deep inside hostile territory, but hostile enough that you would expect an RPG or two when you supplied them, or took out the wounded, which is mainly what Sherlock did, even volunteering to do it. He'd sit down in the afternoon and helped unload the supplies, mainly medical, ammunition, and tools, and stuck around taking requests from the CO, who was running low on water and water purification tablets. A few privates were on duty in the dark, and one of them was freaked, saying he could see something through the thermals that he couldn't see in person. This piqued Sherlock's curiosity, so he had a look. Sure enough, when he looked through the thermals, he could see the shape of a man about 200 meters down the path, but looking through the binoculars, couldn't see anything, even with night vision. This was quite common in Afghanistan. Yet, despite its commonness, it's always quite unnerving when it does happen. But according to Sherlock, he wasn't unnerved, just his deductive reasoning pricking up. First, he thought the thermals were dodgy, so he used another set, and then another. And then, he thought the binoculars were bad, so he used another pair, which weren't just thermal imaging, but infrared night vision. Rather than the shitty green tinted type, it was a grayscale type. And this showed significant detail. Now, on the infrared gay scale, does the military have gay scale? Do they have like thermometers that can see how gay you are? Anyway, now on the infrared grayscale, he could see it. Apparently, it was a human in everything other than having a head. The body was human, perfectly proportioned, but there was no head. Now, the other night vision didn't show this. Sherlock, armed with nothing other than our standard issue Browning high power and probably a single magazine, strolled 200 meters down the path to see if he could see anything. Apparently not. Though, he said it felt unusually chilly, and he said he felt quite uneasy. It was on his way back when he heard soldiers shouting. Looking behind him, he saw 4, maybe 5 rotten bodies shambling after him. He described the smell as rancid, and their look as if they had contracted the vilest leprosy. They were moving pretty quickly, and he could see body parts, fingers, hands, even an entire arm drop off. When he said, they were like the Walking Dead, I felt a chill go up my spine, and my friend reading Kant actually looked up at us. Sherlock said he shouted a warning to the bodies, apparently rotting as if dead for a few days, appendages and torsos swollen from the sun, and as they continued to gain ground on him, he began opening fire. Despite one of them being hit several times, losing most of its shoulder and through the stomach, it single-mindedly continued pursuing Sherlock, who, for the first time ever, sprinted away. A rifleman at the outpost shot them with a more high-powered weapon and killed, or re-killed, one of them. As soon as one of them went lifeless, the others would single-mindedly stuff their faces full of flesh, just tearing off limbs and pieces of the body. No shame, no disgust, like they hadn't eaten for days. At this point, the fellow reading Kant piped up. He had heard similar stories in his journeys. Some American soldiers, badly injured and delirious in the sun, told him how they had seen their brothers in arms set upon by filthy mujahideen and ripped apart alive. Limbs ripped from bodies, heads from necks, and how they would rip the flesh off with their long, nailed fingers, gouging it out or biting it off the bone. They had said only fire or high high-velocity weapons, not small arms, could stop them. Afghan soldiers, when mortally wounded, prefer to kill themselves than be captured because they heard stories and know the folklore. It's true, they kill themselves. I've seen. I must also admit, as I've become more experienced and hardened to the oddness of Afghanistan, I've heard quite a few of these stories myself, to the point where they don't even worry me anymore. I think I saw even a herd of them rampage through a village, but it's Afghanistan.
Damn.
Insane.
This was posted in 2014, just for context.
Woo! Yeah, so that's 11 years old. But those are some of my favorite stories. I believe traditionally they're called ghouls. That's what ghouls are. Like running zombies that eat human flesh and they're all messed up and corpse-like themselves. You know, because you hear about the jinn. Like if you live out there, you know jinn are a thing. Everyone's got a jinn story. But now you got to watch out for ghouls too. And like the jinn, visible on infrared, maybe not visible to the naked eye. Isn't that interesting? Ultra-terrestrials, we've called them.
I like to call them your mom.
Whoa.
Oh! Is that why she has a beeper? All right. Which one of you silly bunnies has a story for us? Mari, do you have a story for us?
I have so many. I don't know which one you want me to read.
The best one. That's also not the longest one. Because it's still the beginning. We don't want to lose people with a really long story in the opening. But we want to scare the wussies away. So it's got to be scary. Ideally, you want to make them pee a little bit. Can you do that, Mari? Can you make them pee a little bit?
So that One Piece thread, that first green text at the top, it's very brief.
You got one?
Yeah, Mari highlighted it for me too. So tell me what story this is, if you can. There's a secret war that's been going on for hundreds of years. We don't know about it because the government has been censoring the true history of the world. Ancient civilizations probably are way more technologically advanced than we are today. Demons secretly run the world. The military are their puppets. Prophecies of the collapse of the corrupt world system exist, but we're a little too afraid to confront that fact. What story is that?
That sounds like
Attack.
the Shaver Mysteries.
Attack on Titan.
Sounds like the real world, but it's
It
actually One
does. It
Piece.
sounds like the real world.
It's actually One Piece, but it is the real world at the same time.
Oh, man.
This One Piece thread is pretty insane. I read through a chunk of it, and people are going way off the chain.
I saw some interesting tidbits in there.
Nobody's wrong. They're just like being very insulting to each other. Like, yeah, you. It's hilarious. Because they're trying to make the argument that, okay, One Piece is a Masonic psyop, all worshiping Lucifer. And you know what?
It is.
It's probably true. But the thing is, Lucifer's not bad. It's what side of the argument you want to sit on. Do you want exit from the Garden of Eden, or do you want to be in soul prison forever?
They said the same thing about the Matrix. Also probably true. Okay, Mari, tell us your spooky pasta.
Okay, give me a second.
You gotta throw the accelerant into the fire and make the and blow our eyebrows off. This is like the show as a kid, remember?
All right, so I have a green text I found that's kind of paranormal. It's just some Anon talking about a camping trip that freaked him out, which there's like a billion of these, but I thought this one was particularly interesting. Okay, so here's the post. Anon says, okay, so I have a story. Not sure if it's paranormal, but it freaked me out. Live in Arizona. Went camping with some work friends in Sedona area, near a river, wooded area. One friend has speech issues, had some rhoticism issues, couldn't say R sounds very well. Anyway, went camping in a remote area. Set up camp near a river since it was before mosquito season. Rhoticism guy is quiet type, just sort of falls into the background. Don't see much of him. Everyone is running around exploring and swimming. Gets dark. Things settle down. Rhoticism guy is still not around, but no one is too worried. Grown-ass man can take care of himself. It's not that late either. Getting darker. Starting to worry. Rhoticism guy finally shows. Takes a seat by the campfire. Stares blankly into it. Ask if he is okay.
Yes.
Ask where he was. Says nothing. He has always been aloof and quiet, so I just let it go. He's back, safe, and that's all that matters. Start having fun with the other friends again. Forget about rhoticism guy. He just sort of slips into the background as always. Go to bed. Rhoticism guy and a few others stay up. Felt good going to bed, but couldn't fall asleep. Got more and more restless, drifting in and out. Kind of have to piss. Thought maybe that would help me sleep. Get out of 10. Rhoticism guy is still in his exact spot, barely able to see him from the burned down coals. Nearly shit myself. Creepy as fuck. Just can't describe it. He was just sitting there, completely still, just looking at the coals. Rub hands together and put them near the fire pit, like he was warming them with a big fire. Not sure what to fucking do. He turns and looks at me, finally decide to say something. Maybe something freaked him out from when he disappeared. Maybe he saw a dead body and is now in a catatonic state. Start calming down. You okay? It's like 4 a.m. Suddenly stands up and starts talking. Acts cheery but can't seem to put emotions behind it. Babbles on for a few moments about the sun coming up soon and getting another good hike in before having to leave. Wants to go for a hike with me. Like, right that damn second. Doesn't want anyone else to come or know where we are going. Doesn't want me to even change clothes or put on shoes.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Gets more and more persistent. Suddenly, realize that he is pronouncing words perfectly.
Uh-oh.
Roticism guy cannot say some words correctly for his life. This guy has not messed up a single word.
It's not Roticism guy anymore.
Start freaking the fuck out. Say that I'm going to wake up others. Go towards the tents, rattle them, yell to friends that it's time to get up. Never takes eyes off Roticism guy. He sits down, returns to his pose of just staring at the coals. Most friends get up. Pretty pissed at me. No fucks are given about that. Say anything needed to keep them up. One guy bitches about the cold, talks about getting firewood. Roticism guy offers to join him. Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Don't know what to do. Out Roticism guy? Try to lie to keep him still? Or just let friend go off with him and be thankful it's not me? Hearted me, I volunteer to join them. Roticism guy stares at me for a moment. It might have been a glare, might have just been a calculating stare. Either way, I know that I saved my friend's life. Roticism guy follows us slowly, just really fucking creepy, like he didn't fit with us. Do not leave friend's side for a second. Keep looking back at Roticism guy. Friend gets the idea that something is up. He starts looking back as well. Get the damn firewood. Get back. Never take eyes off of Roticism guy again. Friend does the same. He seems to get that this guy is acting weird. The guy just stares blankly, doesn't talk unless spoken to. Will do out of place actions, like he'll kneel down and pull his shoelaces around like he was pretending to tie them. All the others return to sleep for a few hours. Once people wake up, no one but me and my friend notice that Roticism guy is weird. He will randomly talk to others, trying to get them to go off alone with him. No one does, since he was always so weird about it. He asked one guy if he wanted to go piss, for example. Roticism guy might be quiet, but fuck, he isn't that aspy. Keep close eye on him, make sure no one goes alone with him. Pack up, time to go. I'm driving. Once we get near Sedona, Roticism guy asks to be let out. Says he'll walk home.
What?
Fucker lives in Phoenix, 2-hour drive. Let him out. Do not give any fucks. Just want him out of the damn car. Others seem confused, but I don't care. He gets out. We drive off. I stare at him through the rearview mirror. He doesn't move, just twitches a little bit. Make a turn and can't see him anymore. Immediately tell others what happened. Slightly scared that he'll jump out and start going gorilla on the car or some shit, but nothing. Others can't comment that he was being weird. Still don't agree with just leaving him. Can't seem to convey that he was being weird. No one but the firewood friend believes me. He doesn't speak up much. Drop it. Back at work, Roticism guy doesn't show up for a few days. When he does get back, stays far away from me. Not sure what to do, but he seems to be back to normal. Doesn't offer to go to the bathroom with any more people anyway. Eventually talk to him. He's pissed as to why we just left him out there. Yell at him for being so damn creepy. And besides, he asked to be let out. More arguing about the facts until I get it. He claims that I took him to show him something on the first day. Walked for hours, then I disappeared. He was lost in the woods the entire damn time.
What?
That was not Roticism guy that spent the night with us.
Oh.
Never speak of it again. Never tell Roticism guy my side of the story.
No!
Dang.
That's some skinwalker shit.
Bro, that's not the first green text story we've heard similar to that, where somebody disappears from the party and then whoever comes back, like, is posing as that person, looks like that person, but there's something a little bit off, and they always have trouble blending in as being normal humans.
I thought it was weird how he kept trying to go off with people.
He's trying to eat their soul and stuff.
Probably.
You think those are just, Darrow that are using mind control beams to try and make love to human women? I don't know.
Or watch you piss.
Yeah, dude, that's what they're into.
I mean, even if this one's fake, it's a pretty good presentation of like a trippy story. I
I
think.
like the detail of the speech impediment.
Yeah.
Because that would
good-
throw me. It would take me a second to realize, like, what is off about this guy? It's like, oh yeah, he's pronouncing everything cross.
Yeah, it's a good one. You can put that in a movie. Oh, that's not my friend.
It's kind of got vibes of The Thing.
Oh yeah. But a lot of these stories are like in a woods camping and weird shit happens. Like 70% of what I found was in a woods stuff. And I've heard other stories like this with doppelgangers. And
Yeah.
We got to make one about rich people who go glamping and this happens to them and they're
Good.
too rich to realize what's going on.
They just go home with the skinwalker and stay married to them for the rest of their life and never notice.
They notice when their girlfriend isn't carrying a Gucci purse where it's like a Walmart brand one. They're like, where's my girlfriend?
All these material things.
Your girlfriend's hit the pipe too many times, buddy.
Or maybe she was hit by a pipe too many times in the woods.
I haven't been hit by a pipe in the woods, so I don't know if I'd like it.
Why not both?
Or you could just hit the pipe. So can we light up a bowl and pass it around the campfire? Who's next?
I'll take a hit, man. Okay, so this one comes to us from Australia. I'm not going to do the accent because you can only do Australian accent when you're trying to do English accent and you accidentally slip into it. I don't know how to get there directly. So Moved into a house in the outback in South Australia in 2005. Pretty much every single person living in our street had only lived there for under 5 years, apart from an elderly couple that lived at the end of the street. This elderly couple had lived on the street for 40 years and had raised their children in the street. They said strange things happened there. A lot of people can't handle it and leave. They never really went into what scared people, just that saying the whole street was haunted or something like that. But they did say it only started happening in the early 90s. Whoa, this is where we're doing the show from.
Perfect.
First experience I had was a week after moving in. I heard a low-pitched humming sound coming from outside my bedroom window. When I looked out, I saw this tall black figure with long arms, long fingers, no facial features. He was slightly transparent. He was backed up against the wall, holding up the garage area of my house. Due to its height, he had to hunch. I was looking out for around 5 seconds before I realized I was looking at it. It turned its head towards me, and I quickly ran away from the window and ran and told my parents. My dad went out and saw that nothing was there. I sketched what I saw, pick related. So this guy saw a giant shadow being hunched under his garage awning. He continues. I started hanging out with the neighborhood kids. We were all teenagers, and they told me their stories, and they all described the same figures I had seen. One of the kids was an Aboriginal, and we would go visit his grandfather a lot. He called the entities Maiyalmula, which translated roughly to stranger man. So I don't talk to strangers, kids. Not unless they have candy or a modeling contract. He said that the Aboriginals in the area had been dealing with them long before the arrival of the Europeans, and said they weren't of the land, which kind of meant they didn't belong there, or they weren't native to there, and they would take the children away and eat them. He said the Aboriginals cast them behind the creek, but since the creek partially dried up, the Maiyalmula had once again been able to get into town. The town I live in was built directly over the previous Aboriginal settlement. This Aboriginal tribe wasn't nomadic and had remained in the area for over 1,000 years. One day my friends and I were playing cricket out on a flat patch of desert in between the road and my house. The sun was setting and we were packing up our stuff. We noticed that there were people off in the distance approaching the road. The closer they got, the more details we could see, and we noticed they were fully black, tall, and they weren't walking but floating. We could also hear low-pitched humming sound that got louder and closer as they came. We bolted back to my house and told my parents, but my parents didn't believe us. I hassled my father enough to drive down on his motorbike to the area where we saw them approaching. After just 9 minutes, he came back to the house, visibly shaken, saying that he had saw them, and I wasn't allowed to go down there anymore. Every time I tried to get the details on what exactly he saw, he would change the subject. One night, I was coming home from a party with my friends, and we passed an empty lot in the street. There we saw 2 small figures sitting on tree stumps, just staring at us. One was bigger than the other, and once again, we heard a low-pitched sound. We were all high as fuck, and we were just standing there, laughing, thinking we were tripping out, until we realized we were all seeing the exact same thing, and we couldn't all be hallucinating the same thing. One of my mates took a step forward, and when he did it, the one closer to us made this very deep growl. I had never heard anything like it, and to make a long story short, we screamed and ran to my house. Ah! I mention this because unlike the tall figures I had seen a lot of them at night. These things were completely physical and not transparent. They were shaped like babies, but they didn't have a neck.
Yeah.
You know, babies don't have much of a neck to begin with, so I don't know. These are like little Quasimodo babies. Now this is where shit heats up. There used to be a group of kids that would take their dirt bikes beyond the creek, and they would go riding way out in the desert. One day, they didn't come home, and everyone assumed they had just gotten lost. They were found a week later, all 5 of them. They were alive, with no food and no water, out in the Australian outback for a week. What scared me was one of the kid's younger brothers, what he told me. He said that his brother had said they saw a light out in the desert, and they felt compelled to follow it. He said he felt like he was in a trance, and they didn't stop following this light for an entire week, and they were out in the outback. He said no matter how far they kept traveling, they didn't seem to get anywhere closer to it. He said if the farmer that found them hadn't found them, they never would have stopped following the light, and eventually would have died. That's just how living paycheck to paycheck works. I think the captains of industry have already mastered this devilish technology. Anyway, getting to the final part of the story. So my mother had gotten sick of me being scared all the time and called her sister who lived in Adelaide to come visit. She's a psychic or something. So she comes down, and the moment she pulls up, she tells us, don't tell her anything about what we've seen. She's gonna go wander the street for a while and come back and tell us what she saw. When she came back, she was visibly shaken. She told me that these things were unlike anything she'd ever experienced, and that she had also run into to the spirit of an old Aboriginal woman. The woman told her tribe were split off from a group of Tharmawal and came to the area that would come to be the town I lived in to escape the Maiyalmula. But the Maiyalmula had followed them. The woman then showed her horrific images of these things slaughtering Aboriginal children and eating them through small slits in their mouth. The woman then told her she drowned herself in the creek so she could act as a spiritual barrier to keep the Maiyalmula out. She said this worked until a pyramid-shaped pathway was built facing the way the Maiyalmula had come from. This allowed them to come in once again, not the fact that the creek had dried up. So this is bad city planning that allowed these child-eating ghosts to come back into the neighborhood. Keep that in mind. You know, if you're into city planning or anything like that, just, be appraised. The Aboriginal woman led my auntie down the path to show her something even more terrifying. After eating the small children, they would rebirth these kids to be their minions or some shit. My auntie said these beings are completely physical and they live out in the desert. Sometimes they come into the town for food. She said these things are harmless. And, namely, they just keep an eye on people for the Maiyalmula. My auntie became confused and said if they were killing children just to make them into spies, then what was their motive in the first place? It was explained to her that the Maiyalmula just seemed intent on inflicting and hurting as many people as possible, and said that they, non-consensual women and men alike, they make pregnant people miscarriage, they cause accidents, and kill the weak. Despite this, they seem to have a personal vendetta against the Aboriginal woman's tribe and seem intent on wiping them out. This is why they remained focused on the town. My auntie came to the conclusion that the Maiyalmula aren't human spirits. They aren't spirits at all. She believed they were a physical, reproducing race of beings that most were likely aliens. She said she'd heard of similar beings all around the world. After hearing all this, we put our house up on the market and began preparations to leave. A couple of days before we left, I went on one last motorbike ride where my father had told me not to go. While riding along the path, I saw this rock, and it was weird because it looked like it was smoothed down a bit and had some markings on it. I don't know if it was related at all to what had been happening. I personally think it's someone playing a joke because none of the engravings on it are Aboriginal. Anyways, I took it with me, pick related. So then he posts some pictures of his little town. It is really small. It is a very small, basically a tiny, tiny suburb in the middle of the desert. And it looks like they made this V shape connecting to a path that leads out of the village in this cul-de-sac, and apparently this is the pathway that allowed these evil beings to come back in, which are aliens. Maybe these things are real. A lot of these things are similar, more similar than you'd think. All right, Hecka, tell us about Hercules.
Okay. Hercules. This one is a green text post from an anonymous user. Appears to be from early last year.
Oh, it's a new one.
All right, here we go. So Anon says, rent a cabin with the gang, like 12 of us in total, 6 guys, 5 girls, was with one girl. Bro number 2 was with girl number 2. Bro 3 was with girl 3. Bro 4 was with girl 4. Girl 5 had been dating Hercules, but cheated on him with Paris and Hessen. I don't know what they saw in her, but it always bothered me that it was an open secret that only Hercules wasn't in on. We didn't treat him the way that we should have.
Oh man, these chicks are just cheating on Hercules and they're not telling him? They're bad bros.
French Parisian bro, 5'2", skateboards all day, very whiny, and always finding something to complain about. We'll call him Paris. Prussian French bro, 6'1" to about 6'2", blonde hair, blue eyes, claims descent from the von Hessen family, so we'll call him Hessen. Greek bro, he's a character and a half, 6'4", long hair and thick beard, certified genius and dyslexic, claims descent from some Byzantine dynasty, claims an aunt of his married the king or prince of Greece during World War I, claims to have seen Jesus or visions from God twice. And this was before he smoked weed or did shroom. 1,000-yard stare. Had the nickname Hercules because he would do shit that would need 3 people and wouldn't even break a sweat. Super shy and kind and would go out of his way to help people, and you wouldn't ever think he'd be able to hurt a fly. And for the most part, that's true. He could never hurt an innocent person, but when it comes to people who weren't innocent, he'd go apeshit. Bananas, if you will. One time he catches a guy trying to R a girl in an alley. The man tried to threaten Hercules with a knife. Before the guy finished his threat, Hercules had taken out a metal car hook from his jacket pocket and knocked the guy's teeth out in one punch.
Oh,
What's a metal car hook?
like a crowbar, but for cars. I don't know, actually.
All right, I'm going to think of it as a crowbar. Okay, we get to the woods, and everyone is wearing normal clothing and maybe a hiking stick. Not Hercules, he has a clock. A Phrygian cap. What's a clock? I think he means a cloak. A Phrygian cap and a handmade walking staff with a dangling cross and holy water. He also had a sword under his cape thing. It sounds like he's ready to go LARPing.
He's Mythras.
He always went all out when he got the chance. He looks like a cross between a Christian Gandalf and a giant Greek gnome. Oh, and almost forgot, his mom openly claims to be a witch. Hercules hates witches and witchcraft.
Of course.
He probably cast magic missile on the darkness.
He hates that his mom is on OnlyFans. Hates it!
Walking to cabin when we see like 4 people in robes off the trail. They're hiding behind some bushes and watching from a distance. I think he means they are hiding behind some bushes and watching from a distance. We start speed walking, but we can see them every now and again following us. Hercules screams at them asking if they're okay or needed help. They just smile and laugh at us, and one of them pulls out a sickle. Hercules laughs, pulls out his sword and screams,
Friendly reminder, swords are longer than sickles.
When I tell you Hercules isn't afraid of shit, I mean he isn't afraid of jack shit. He's being chased by everything from mountain goats to human traffickers. This guy will take magic mushrooms and watch horror movies. Not even doing this at night scares the guy. Anyway, 4 guys in robes, just back into the woods, and we think we scared them off. So we get to the cabin, and all looks normal. Hercules and the rest of the guys, along with the girls, start taking bong rips on the cabin porch.
Ooh, drug users.
420 blaze it.
Hercules normally smokes around 1 to 2 ounces of weed a week, but brought 2 ounces for the weekend since we'd be in a group.
My man.
No matter how much Hercules smokes, he's sober. Night comes around, and we're all drunk and high, obviously except Hercules here. All of a sudden, we hear a bang at the door. We look out the window, but it's pitch black outside. Hercules, backed by me, Hessen, and Guy 2 and 3, open the door to find a squirrel with its throat cut and a note with a rubber band around it. If there is one way to make Hercules lose his shit, it's animal abuse. It's one thing to hunt, but this was a message. Hercules tried looking at it and what's on the note, but it's in Latin. Hercules is a polyglot. Hessen also knows a little Latin, but not much. Most of the letter is covered in blood, but they say it looks like a curse or some shit like that.
It's just the lyrics to Stairway to Heaven.
Or a Bauhaus song.
Paris is in the kitchen area with Guy 4 and the girls, and he's pissing himself while trying to put on his fake tough persona for the girls. Hercules puts back on his gear, now with one of those flashlight headbands, and starts running out of the cabin, and at what looked like a shadow that then started running from Hercules.
Oh!
As the guy runs, Hercules is picking up rocks and whipping them at the guy with the accuracy of a competition sniper. Robed shadow guy is basically dancing as he runs, and he gets hit. 3 more robed figures jump out of the bushes and start running at Hercules. Hercules whips a rock at one of the robed figures, hits them in the face. Instant KO. Pulls out his sword, and some tiny shield that only really covers his hand starts slashing into the dark and ends up cutting off someone's hand. And what looks like an axe falls. When the robed figure curls over their hand, Hercules grabs them by the back of their head and knees them in the face. The one with the sickle actually managed to get their weapon stuck in the small shield, and Hercules just grabbed the guy by the ears and started smashing his head into the guy's face repeatedly, and just letting him go, dropping him like a rag doll.
Get him, Hercules!
We're all in stunned amazement that this guy single-handedly took down these cultists, or whatever they were, as if he was the fucking Doom guy.
True hero.
It's the real Mythras.
There's like a picture here that's supposed to be an image of something that looks like his sword, but it's not the same one.
See, this is what they're talking about in the occult. When you mean making a moonchild, they mean making Hercules. This is the whole point of being a witch. He should thank his mom. He
Probably had so proud of him if I was his mom. My boy takes the biggest bong rips and kills all the evil occultists.
Okay, so Hercules just walks back into the cabin and starts asking if we are okay. Of course, the girls are freaking out and want to leave. Paris is also being a whiny little bitch and wants to leave. Not because he thinks that's the best, but because he wants what the girls want.
Wow.
Most of the guys are trying to convince them to stay at least until the morning. Hercules doesn't really see a difference, as he doesn't think they'd come back. but says that if we do leave, we have to stay in a tight group. It's about a 20-minute walk or 15-minute speed walking or jog. We decide to try to make a run for it. We leave as a group, all huddled together, and Hercules screams into the night.
If I see you following us, I'll fucking kill you where you stand. This is your only warning.
We did go to the Royal Mounted Police. Oh, it's in Canada. The next day, and told them almost everything. Of course, they're not going to mention the hacking off of the hand because, there are no self-defense laws here in Canada. Left out the sword fight. Aha, see, I called it. But told them about the robed figures with weapons and the squirrel. They accused us of being high or drunk or whatever came to their mind. We went back to the cabin with the cops. They said to drop it, otherwise they would arrest us.
Oh,
that sounds like Canada.
Brutal.
They don't believe us. They think we accidentally burned down the cabin and made up the story. The cabin was fine when we left that night. There was no hands or weapons, just splatter and pools of dry blood. The cops don't even acknowledge the blood or the obvious cuts and bruises all over us from running through the woods all night or any of the evidence that Hercules had been in a fight.
Whoa.
What does MFW mean?
My face when.
My face when we almost got murdered by some cult in the woods, but our teddy bear friend is still as savage as a real bear. Honestly, I still miss this guy. Haven't heard from him since he found out about his girlfriend and who he thought were his friends.
Aw. And he says my face when. The picture for this post is it's Goofy from that animation where he's like, I'll fucking do it again.
You're not good enough for Hercules, you damn miscreants. You dishonest, bad, friends that you can't rely on.
Hercules is like literal definition of a Chad.
Yeah, but he's like ultra nerd Chad.
I mean, he's perfect in every way. How could they betray his trust?
They don't deserve the Hercules.
Andrew's a little bit like this, but he'll just talk to you about a Nokian. Even if you don't want to hear about it.
Can he take massive bong rips and still stay sober? Wow.
I mean, most of the time.
That really doesn't surprise me. I would assume, honestly, if I was to do a best guess, that these people were in BC somewhere. And,
probably.
Because these BC folk, they can smoke weed. I'll tell you that.
Dude, weed, Lamau.
Okay, this next one is for Hika Astra. It's got some good details, and it leads into the pain section of the show, which includes a story by none other than the Great Beast 666. But let's get to it. All right, X, I've got a weird story to tell you guys. I don't come to this board often at all, but it seems like it's the right place. Be me, serving in prison for street racing. Yeah, I know it's fucking stupid. I did it once after getting pressured by my friend. I got caught immediately. 2 months in, I get a new cellmate. Nice enough guy, but scared of everything. Mumbles to himself. Get to know him. Turns out he's a paranoid schizophrenic. Wakes up screaming some nights. Tells me about his delusions. He knows he's fucked up. Except them, man. I know they're not delusions. I'm not f***ing crazy. I see those eyes every time I close my eyes. I'm never gonna unsee that red light. Starts rambling about how they come for him at night, and he's got to keep himself in prison to stay safe. That's what they all say. Wouldn't tell me what he did to get locked up. Dodges the question every time.
Someone replies to OP, where do you live that your first street race offense is prison time? That was funny.
Like Los Angeles or something. Fast forward a month, we become friends, and he opens up a little. Tells me how he used to never sleep because that's when the shit go down. When he would start to doze off, his body would start to feel real heavy, and then he'd get a vibrating sensation in his limbs, like a heavier, slower version of the way you feel when your leg falls asleep. A humming noise will start out quiet, but get louder and louder, and then a bright white light fills the room, and then slowly it turns blood red as the hum reaches its peak pitch, like a skull-splitting tinnitus. Says he usually blacks out after that, but not always. Sometimes I see them. They don't want me to remember. I ask him what he means. He starts describing fucking grays in great detail. I don't believe in aliens at the time, so I thought he was totally nuts. Short, with limbs long in proportion to their bodies, more than humans, about 4.5 to 4.3 feet tall, gray.
No!
Almost see-through gray. He said it looks like more of a membrane than it did human skin. Massive black eyes that reflected everything like a mirror. They smelled almost like a burning phone charger. This is remarkably consistent, like that smell.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've heard this, like a similar description, like it's so either well-researched or maybe it's true. I asked him about the smell, but he just shrugged and said it's hard to describe. It didn't really smell like burning plastic and wire, but it's the only word he could use. He'd never smelled anything quite like it before. Probably the way DMT tastes.
Kind of sounds like a mixture of sulfur and ozone.
Oh, yeah.
Well, those are two common smells when high strangeness happens, usually around UFO stuff, so maybe.
I like the story. I don't like it.
Well, cover your ears, dear. It'll be over in soon.
The next day, so he says he's getting uncomfortable now, and that talking about them for too long makes him anxious when he goes to sleep. The next day, we had art therapy. Fucking stupid, right? And he gets all all twitchy and starts drawing creepy shit. Basically, we do it to let out our feelings because it's supposed to help people be less violent or something. I don't really know. I just start doodling. I'm usually a pretty chill guy and I don't have anything going on in my mind because you're an idiot. Danny, my cellmate, seems to enjoy these sessions for the most part, even though he's not very good. This time it's different. Super anxious. Says he's up nearly all night. Even though I was up late, I didn't hear him make a sound. He keeps scratching his neck obsessively, constantly chewing on his forefinger. Looks like he's on the verge of some sort of panic attack. Therapist tells him to try and draw what's upsetting him. Stares at the paper and charcoal for like half of the fucking session. Then he starts feverishly drawing. Fills the entire page with shades of red. Can barely make anything else out. Looks vaguely like a bedroom. You can see a blurry doorway and what looks like a bed, maybe a dresser. It's all messy. You can see 3 figures near the bed, blurry except for the eyes. Huge, pitch black almond-shaped eyes. They're surrounding the bed with a staticky figure, Danny, in it, just screaming. The therapist asks him to tell him what it is. He just mumbles about a nightmare. Then OP says he's answering phone calls at work, typing this. He has to like do it super fast, get back to work. He continues. Ask Danny about the art later. Tells me it usually happens when he sees the grays, but his therapist tells him it's a nightmare. Nightmares don't leave marks. He turns around and shows me the base of his neck. There's a faded scar, small, perfect circle with a triangle of 3 dots in the middle. What the where have we seen these 3 dots before? 3 perfectly triangular dots.
Drones?
I don't want to talk about it.
Predator?
it's there's people on the show that have had 3 weird dots after their strange experience. So
There's a picture somewhere in the Discord of it that
there
I shared
is.
at some point.
So
It means Predator aimed his laser beam at you. That's all.
Somebody in the thread replied to that specific part. Fucking Predator, man. Nice bait, mate.
no, it's real. Where do you think Predator got it from? Anyway, so the therapist claims this is just self-harming in his sleep or sleepwalking. Bullshit.jpg. It's time for lockup. I don't feel like sleeping, so I get into bed and read. On the first page of a new book, when suddenly Danny sits up, freaking the fuck out and yelling. Dude, what? I asked him what the fuck happened. He said they came for him and took him away. Now I know he's fucking nuts. Tells me to look at the time. There's a clock you can see from outside our cell. It's fucking 4 hours since lockup time. I was reading the same page that I started on 4 hours ago. There's no way I fell asleep or anything. That was one of the creepiest things that ever happened to me. Danny said losing time is common, but he didn't see me, quote, on board. Why the fuck would I lose time too? So I'm getting really freaked out. I don't want to believe him. I even get checked out by the prison doctor and the psych ward just to see if I'm losing my shit. They say I'm fine. Get cleared. So I just pass it off as dozing off while reading and just not realizing it. Couple weeks go by as normal. Going to yard, art therapy once a week, going to the library, etc. Prison starts letting inmates have chalk in their cells so they could draw or write or whatever, and you know, chalk can't be used as the weapon. And Danny starts drawing the faces of these grays again and drawing odd lines, symbols, and dots with lines, kind of like constellations. And then he shows it and it looks a lot like the Voyager gold record, the things that his friend is drawing. So it's kind of interesting. Now this is where things get weird. He continues. Been waking up with headaches, nosebleeds some days. Not exactly strange. They can be side effects of allergies and the meds that I take. I'm looking forward to getting out. Danny still has a while to go. I don't know what it is or for how long. We stay up late one night drinking shitty prison wine. The idiot who gave it to us f***ed it up and it tastes like vinegar and piss. But it did get us fucked up. Drink till we're on the verge of passing out when suddenly Danny freaks out. Shit, fuck, do you hear that? Anon, please tell me you don't hear that. It's the humming noise he mentioned. Oh, fuck. The noise gets louder and louder and a higher whine can be heard over it, and Danny is pounding on the jail cell door screaming for help. No one comes. No prisoner tells us to shut the fuck up. No guards come to slam their batons into the bars. What the fuck is happening? A bright, pulsating white light is filling the prison, searing my eyes. Suddenly turns blood red and everything goes dead quiet. So quiet, you can hear the blood rushing. I try to hide under my bed. I can't move. It's like I'm made of lead. My body is buzzing like it's made of fucking bees. I start to panic. I want to scream for help. I ask Dan if he's okay, but I can't even open my mouth. Get the sudden feeling of being watched. In the glow of the red light, I can see shadows on the wall. Shadows start moving around. Suddenly, I feel a sharp pain in my head. I get the mental image of myself frozen in the cell with Danny a few feet behind me. It was like someone put a camera in the cell and I was watching. The image was gone, but I could sense something. Everything goes cold, and the vibrating gets worse and more violent, almost as if the cells in my body are being thrown around. I could feel myself being lifted off the ground. I close my eyes, and even though I'm not religious, I start to pray. What else am I gonna do? To anything that'll listen. The red light is searing into my retinas. I'm screaming inside, but nothing comes out. Suddenly, I'm in a room. It's steel colored, no light source, but evenly lit to the point of no shadow. The next thing I see is the eyes Danny mentioned. They were fucking horrible. Massive eyes that looked like it took up a quarter of their face. Almond-shaped and slanted at 45 degrees. Pitch black. I could see my own terrified reflection in them. Those massive, wet, black voids reflected every inch of terror in my face. Those things didn't look remotely human. No drawing or Photoshop or mask has ever come close to how awful those things were. The waxy, membrane-like skin almost pulsated. Images flashing through my head. Me and Danny, the aliens, the prison, pictures of planets, organs, stars. Give me a massive headache. I didn't know what it was trying to do. Suddenly, I'm in the prison hospital. They found me on the floor of the prison cell with a blinding headache, lying in a pool of my own vomit and blood pouring from my nose. They found Danny huddled in the corner. Sobbing, shit in his pants, covered in scratches and bruises. The doctors and guards questioned me. They thought we were fighting, even though no one saw or heard anything at all. No one heard our screaming, the lights, the humming sound. How the f***? Told them that we got drunk, but we didn't fight or anything. I had no idea what happened to Danny. They released me in time for dinner. Head still pounding, my whole body aches, especially my neck. The IV helped, but I wanted to get actual food in my body. But Danny wasn't in the cafeteria. I didn't see him for another 3 days. Danny tells me they questioned him and asked him why I attacked him. He says the wounds were self-inflicted, that he had a nightmare, and then he clawed and hit himself in his sleep. They kept him under observation to make sure he didn't try and hang himself or something. Neither of us want to talk about what happened that night. All he asked was, "You saw them too, didn't you?" I nodded. "Yeah, you know they're not gonna let you go now, right? Once they set their eyes on you, you're in their sight for life." Obviously creeped the f out. Neither of us sleep well for the next few weeks. Nothing major happens until a few nights before I'm out. Mostly headaches and nosebleeds. Go to sleep, wake up in the middle of the night to the humming noise and bright red light. Please God, no, not again! I can't take this again! The humming died down and the light fades away. I breathe a sigh of relief. I realized it was probably just sleep paralysis. Used to happen to me as a kid, but I'd see the old hag, fall back asleep. Wake up to the sounds of guards yelling at me and slamming open the door. They tell me to get up and spread against the wall. Hands up. What the f is going on? Start barraging me with questions. Where did Danny go? How did he get out? Did you help him? What? .jpeg. Keep telling me I didn't do nothing. I don't know nothing. They bring me to a room to interrogate me more. After a few hours of the same, they let me go. Talk to some other inmates in my cell block. They don't see anything either. A guard who is friendly to me tells me that the cameras caught nothing. They don't have any leads. It's just like Danny up and vanished. And then he answers a few people's questions. He's like, yeah, it looks a lot like how you would see in pop culture what these grays look like, but they're just awful. He says it's like Lovecraft. When you see them, it's like you just go mad. Like it's just unbelievably crazy. And you always have a feeling of being watched. There's some very powerful energy around them. So Danny's gone for 3 days. Cops put out an APB on him, thinking he's escaped. On the last day, some convicts find him in the rec yard. His foot somehow pinched in between weights that were already on a bar? How does that happen? He had to go to the prison hospital for dehydration and some broken ribs, which is what I found out later. They never found him on footage on any camera, so there was an investigation to see if there was a cop trying to get inmates out. I don't know if anything ever came of that, but I know for a fact this wasn't the cops. There's no way he would vanish without a trace and then reappear, clipping through fucking metal. I never got to see Danny again. I left the day after he came back. He wrote me a few weeks after I left, telling me that night how he vanished and saw the red lights again. He hoped that was the last time any of us would ever see the red light, but we both kept seeing him. I don't know how often it happens for him, but looking at the letter now, he had a few stories. So then he includes some photographs of the pictures that Danny drew, and it's just like red crayon with like stereotypical gray aliens, but mostly the eyes are colored in. There's just kind of like faded lines. And then he also shows images of the North Carolina abduction case sketch along with Aleister Crowley's LOM entity. And the guy's like, oh man, this looks a lot like them,
Or that's someone asking him, so it looks like this, right?
Yeah.
And he says, yeah, grays.
All right, I'm going to see if I can read Danny's letter here because he scanned the letter. Hey, hope you're doing well. I'm sure they're talking about sending me to the psych ward now. They think I'm crazy. If I were them, I'd think so too. But you've seen what I've seen. You know how real this is. You're just as scared as I am. Remember that night we saw the red light? It happened again. I started praying to God a few weeks ago, asked him to protect me from all this evil. But instead of angels coming to deliver me, they did. I remember every single thing they did to me. They hurt me. They put me on a table. They cut me open and they stuck me full of glass and copper and glowing tubes, scanning and probing my organs and every little bit. I thought I was going to die, but they made sure I did not. I passed out. I woke up with no scars or wounds. I ached all over. I don't know how much more I can take. I want to die. At least in a psych ward, it'll be hard to myself. As afraid of them as I am, I'm scared. There's something worse on the other side. Take care, Danny. P.S. Here's one of my drawings from therapy. Keeping them scares me, but it feels wrong to throw them away. So, if you're being abducted by aliens, just know that if you ever go to prison, it won't save you either. Sleep tight, criminals. But if you'd like to hear a handful more of these creepy stories we sourced from online, which are objectively guaranteed to be true, along with Aleister Crowley's fictional short story. Did you know he wrote short stories?
No.
It's a fairly compelling one as well. So it's called The Stratagem. But if you'd like to hear that, please visit www.patreon.com/thewholerabbit, where your monthly donation of just $5 will not only support this show, will not only get you the extended version of this episode, it'll get you the extended version of every single one of our episodes, the keys to our Discord server, and heck, if hanging out with a community of weirdos like yourself isn't good enough for you, then I'll send you a 5x5 high quality vinyl sticker of our Big Bunny Baphomet cover art, guaranteed to make everyone in the whole world scared of you, mad at you for your political beliefs,
And jealous.
jealous bunny.
You're the coolest cult of all time.
Exactly, the coolest cult
Yup.
this side of infinity.
We also welcome all protophiliacs as well.
I only like hobbit bees.
That's a
What?
thing? Are those the ones that like make their nests in the ground?
No, we talked
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah, hobbit bees.
You ever get milk from a ghost bee?
Huh?
They're called boobies.
Nah.
Dirt.
Thank you, everybody. Eat carrots and shoot lasers.
Pew pew.
Pew.